tomorrow morning, August 13th at 7:15 a.m. Eastern, 4:15 a.m. Pacific, Venus will conjoin the sun perfectly in an astrological alignment called Cazimi, which means in the heart of the sun. Venus is currently stationed retrograde in Leo. It appears to be moving backwards through the degrees of Leo. The sun is moving forward. The sun never stations retrograde. Because the sun is in lower degrees and Venus is in higher degrees of Leo currently, the sun sets first, which means Venus is visible in the evening sky. That makes Venus the evening star, also known as noctifer, or the bringer of night. After this Cazimi, Venus will be on the other side of the sun, and the sun will be in higher degrees, and Venus will be in lower degrees of Leo. That means that Venus will be visible in the morning sky just before the sun rises. This is Venus, the morning star, also known as Lucifer, the bringer of light. There's obviously a lot of different connotations to the word Lucifer, but what the allegory in the Bible is describing with the fallen angel of Lucifer, who is defeated by Christ, this is the story of Venus, who rises above the horizon first as the morning star, attempting to take the throne or be seen, visible on the midheaven. But before Venus can ever reach the midheaven, the sun will always rise behind her, and this light of the sun overpowers the light of Venus, the morning star. Now, there are some people who explicitly equate that story to the planetary movement. There's others who believe as above, so below. What is happening in the physical is a reflection of what is happening in the spiritual. And with that perspective, there is absolutely truth to the biblical story of Lucifer, the fallen angel. But the depiction of Lucifer, especially in Christianity, is the inversion of Venus. It's a masculine figure who is up to no good. Venus is the feminine goddess of justice, peace, harmony, and balance. So I want to take a moment to look at this tweet from Alchemilli on Twitter, at EMMIJEN, Imogen. Amazing thread. It's Friday, so I thought it would be a good time to nerd out about the lore most closely associated with Venus retrograde, Inanna's descent. Inanna was a powerful Mesopotamian goddess who ruled over beauty, fertility, and love, and was closely associated with the planet Venus. Inanna already possessed the secrets of creating life, fertility, and birth, and decided she wanted to learn the wisdom of death and darkness to better understand the whole of existence. So she decided to leave the heavens and travel to her sister's underworld, realm of the dead. Once she got there, Inanna faced one gatekeeper after another, each demanding that she surrender her talismans and objects of power. When she finally reached the throne room of her sister, Ereshkigal, she was naked, disgraced, and completely defenseless. Ereshkigal was furious that Inanna had sought to learn the secrets of her realm when she already held the secrets of her own, the root of female jealousy. She killed Inanna, leaving her naked and undignified body impaled on a meat hook. But when Inanna failed to return from her trip into hell, her loyal servant begged the gods to help, and they did, rescuing her and bringing her back to life. Inanna returned to the heavens in full glory, now possessing the secrets of both life and death, and all the more powerful for it. The parable of Venus retrograde is this. As Venus appears to travel backwards in the sky, we're asked to surrender our attachments and delusions one by one, so that we are finally forced to walk through our darkest shadows, integrate them, and be reborn in light and wisdom. So in some ways, Venus retrograde is just an ancient initiation of rebirth and renewal. Maybe a little dramatic, but still true. Stay prayed up, offer your tears to your altar, and surrender what you're asked. We'll all be morning stars before you know it. So that is such a beautiful, perfect description of Venus retrograde applied to ancient Mesopotamian myth, and how the morning star Lucifer is a lot more than just this demon in Christian mythology. So again, in this context, what does then Venus retrograde Cazimi mean? Unlike the moon, which moves through cycles of light and dark, the sun is the luminary that is always lit. It is a source of energy and vitality and everlasting life. In Christian astrology, the sun is Christ, and Saturn, bringer of darkness, restriction, bondage, is Satan. Satan is really like Saturn's shadow. This idea of Inanna being resurrected from the underworld to return to her glory in the heavens, this is the divine feminine story of resurrection. Venus Cazimi is the resurrection of beauty, the redemption of justice, and return to glory. And I still have not seen the Barbie movie because I'm really busy, but I'm going to. But from what I know of the Barbie movie storyline, this is very much the divine feminine's spiritual journey. And I think it's really important to talk about how all of these different religious myths and stories tie in together to the reality that we are all collectively experiencing. If Venus retrograde is Inanna's descent into the underworld, then Venus retrograde Cazimi is the resurrection of Inanna in the underworld, connecting with the sun and the solar essence of everlasting life, absorbing the warmth and the energy and filling your life and spirit and soul with as much joy as you possibly can tomorrow is the best thing that you can do. Not to sound all woo-woo, but there is definitely solar activations happening tomorrow. You want to be in the direct sunlight if you can. The light of the sun can purify and fill even the darkest, most emptiest voids. You'll never be able to fill that part of you that feels dark and empty and hollow if you're pretending that that part of you doesn't exist. That's what integrating your shadow is acknowledging the darkness and loving it so that it can be filled with light. And look, it's a lot easier said than done, but it's definitely worth giving a shot. In a more practical context, I have talked about Venus retrograde and its implications on your food, clothing, shelter, basic living necessities, your finances, your money, your valuables, and your possessions, your relationships, your romantic, friendship, business partnerships, any type of partnership, as well as beauty, visuals and aesthetics, art, music, creative expression, poetry, etc. So if you've been kind of struggling in any of those areas, tomorrow is a really good day to make a change. And the kind of backwards and out of balance effects of Venus retrograde are kind of offset by this Cazimi. The light of the sun purifies the Venusian intentions and allows the creative vision to actually shine through. Like me, for example, on a practical level, I've needed a haircut for a little while, but not in Venus retrograde. Tomorrow, during this Cazimi, I will be cutting my hair.